Okay, we're jumping
Okay.
right back in where we left off. So we heard a bit about your background in school up through fifth, sixth grade. We're talking about junior high and your future career. Can you tell us a little bit about Lulu? Now, I've read about Jenny Mickeltree, who was
Mitchell
her
tree.
Mitchell is that how
Uh-huh.
you pronounce it? Who was married to who was married to an Irishman,
Uh-huh.
right? Former captain, army captain, and and she was a clairvoyant. She was the sister of Lulu, who you spent time with, and most of the family is really curious about Lulu because everybody hears about Katie Stroud, but what can you tell us about Lulu?
Okay. I can tell you how she raised us.
Mm.
Um, she never really. She said her brother was an outlaw. His name was Erastus,
Mm.
and that was all she said about him. She We knew she had a sister, but she didn't tell us a lot
Mm.
about her sister either. And I later, it was years later, I found out that her sister had gone to prison,
Mm.
and that's probably why she didn't say anything about her.
Right.
But she really liked her sister.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember the sister coming to visit while we were kids there,
Mm-hmm.
even though I understand in prior years that she may have made a few visits to the house. Um, Grandmother had a standard that she expected us to live up to. Um, we were expected to act a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and she demonstrated the kind of behavior she wanted us to have. Um, Interestingly enough, and I've reflected on this, I've never seen my grandmother's ankles
Hmm.
ever in my life.
Really?
I have never seen
Mm.
her wrist ever in my life. Does that tell you how she was
Yes.
dressed?
Mm-hmm.
She was covered.
Right.
Right. She would go out in the lawn sometimes to pick dandelions. She would bend over from the
Mm-hmm.
waist. I never ever saw anything. She wore long stockings,
Right.
long
Mm-hmm.
cotton stockings or something. And I remember Rosemary and Bobby were concerned about that. But grandmother wanted us to learn. She encouraged learning. Um, I really don't know how to
Yeah.
describe her.
So did she ever tell you much about her family?
No, she didn't
About
tell
the
us.
nothing about the native Indian, the
No,
moving from Oklahoma and coming to Colorado Springs or that
no,
journey or
she
anything
did.
like that.
All of that I learned
Hmm.
later.
Okay.
It didn't come from her.
Right.
Uh,
But
she didn't dwell in the past.
yeah, yeah, I can see
Right,
that. So
right,
so obviously she went to the boarding school, and I understand she worked for as a maid in different houses of very refined and wealthy white families. So she
right,
probably picked up a lot of those types of things there as well.
right.
But from what you do recall of her, manners and the way you held yourself and the way you behaved, education were things that were really important. She was very conservative. It sounds like just from her dress and so forth. Um, Anything else you recall?
Okay. When we never ate in the kitchen, which was a small kitchen anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but we never ate in there, and grandmother never ate with us. We were always served in the dining room.
Mm.
We never did dishes. We never cooked. She didn't want us in the kitchen, so we weren't. And I think it was a fear of little kids getting hurt.
Getting hurt. Mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah.
never washed dishes growing up. We never cooked growing up. We
Mm-hmm.
never learned any of that.
Really?
Um, our table was always set with the fork to the left,
Mm-hmm.
the knife and the
Mm-hmm.
spoon on the right,
Mm-hmm.
the napkin to the left, the glass to the right. Uh, Grandmother never made us eat anything we didn't like.
Mm. Interesting.
So for breakfast every morning, all four of us ate a different kind of cereal. None of us liked the same kind, and it didn't bother her. That was okay. We had stuff for whatever anybody wanted.
Do you remember any of the cereals that you guys ate back then?
I was trying to remember now. Uh, Somebody liked corn flakes. Somebody liked Rice Krispies. Somebody liked puffed wheat. Some
Right,
kind of
yeah,
puffed
puffed
wheat.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember the fourth one, but I don't remember us,
Mm.
any of the four of us, eating the same kind of cereal. And if you got something on your plate you didn't like, you didn't have to eat it.
Mm.
She never made you, eat what you didn't
Interesting.
like.
Mhm.
Right. Grandmother would come to the dining room table and eat with us on Sundays, provided if she had invited a friend to come.
I see.
And she had a friend from church named Mrs. Hamilton. And sometimes she would invite her, and when she came, then grandmother would come eat with us. But other than that, she did not eat with
Really?
us. No, I don't. After you've raised 11
Yeah,
kids, you
yeah,
don't
I
want to
bet.
eat with four more. And then,
Mhm.
plus, you want them to have manners, but you're going to sit there and tell them. So grandmother usually ate in the kitchen or ate in the kitchen.
Would she like before you guys ate or during after
You
or
know, I
while?
really
Do
don't
you
know.
remember? Because
We
I know
were so
my wife sometimes she'll eat while she's cooking and so forth, and then she'll serve. She's from Jamaica, so she'll do that sometimes with me and my daughter. So I just
right, but grandmother couldn't cook. That was the other thing. So,
Really?
oh no, grandmother was the worst cook. Even as little kids, we wouldn't eat what she cooked. So that'll tell
that's
you.
that's why you got cereal, huh? In the morning.
No, but grandmother, she tried to make some donuts. I remember that she was going to make these donuts, and then she put this pot of grease on the stove somewhere and was going to put these donuts down in it and then serve us those donuts. I have never eaten so much grease.
Oh my goodness.
You take one bite and the grease would just ooze out.
Oh.
And there was no
Wow.
way we were going to eat that. So, and then I know I've seen grandmother in the kitchen with buttermilk, little black peas, because she put them in the oven to warm them up. Green peas in the oven to warm up, and they turn black.
Black. Oh my goodness.
So she had buttermilk, black peas, and cornbread in a glass, and she would sit there, stir it up, and eat it with a spoon.
Really?
Now there was no way we were going to eat that, but that she seemed to really like
She was
that.
fine for her, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was one ice cream she loved. It had nuts in it. And what was that called? I can't remember the name of it because she never shared it with us either. That was the other thing I remember. It was for her, and she ate it.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, but she did not come in and eat with us, and I don't blame her.
Right.
And it never bothered us. I mean, it never occurred to us that was odd. We were just accustomed to that.
Excellent. Thanks. We're going to switch gears and get back to your story.
Okay.